and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our podcast. I'm your host for today, and I hope you enjoyed this very serious show. My name is Kiara.
Wrong.
Oh my god, you guys have to stop interrupting my intro. That was my best one yet.
Best one yet? Girl, you sounded like you were hosting the evening news.
Yeah, where's the breaking news? Student slips in mud, traumatizing event takes in place at school camp.
Okay, that actually did happen, but we're not talking about that yet.
Not yet? Oh, we're definitely talking about it now.
Yeah, today's all about the funniest, most chaotic moments from camp, aquatics, playtime, and maybe even classrooms.
So like every day?
Pretty much.
Okay, so according to this, we've got stories that involve mud, chaos, and maybe a few traumatizing flashbacks.
Like when someone fell in the creek.
That was me.
So grab a snack, get comfy, and prepare to laugh at our pain.
But first, let me re-say that. Hi, and welcome to the most chaotic moments of our school lives. My name is Kiara, right? Not wrong. And today I'm here with my two best friends, Avleen.
Greetings.
And Manya.
Hi.
Today we're going to be talking about funny, chaotic, or anything you'd call it. And some moments are still quite clear in our heads, involving chaos, and according to some of us, traumatizing. Right now, it's quite cloudy outside, and we're in one of the rooms between our Year 6 classes. We're going to be discussing lots today, including our aquatics excursion, playtime chaos, and the classic, classroom chaos. But first, we're going to be chatting about one of our most favorite excursions, and included a bit of a twist. Alright. First question. Manya, take us back to camp for a sec. What's that one moment that you can still remember from camp?
Okay, so we were in our cabin during our free time. And honestly, the cabins were super pretty, even modern. Except the bathrooms, they were dirty and I even saw mold and a bug in the shower. One of us even had to sacrifice a towel so we wouldn't even slip. The towel was so drenched that we had to change it again. Anyways, we started to play this game in our cabin with all the girls in our arranged cabins. We turned off all the lights so it was pitch black, and one of us had to be it. And at that point, Isabella was it. And we all had our flashlights too, in case someone had a heart attack, which was obviously not me. We all started hiding in our cabin. Some on bunk beds, some behind doors, under beds, others elsewhere. Once the person who was it finished counting, they all came out and started looking for the people in the dark. The hiders even flickered their lights on to confuse or help the person who was it. Fun to play, but the things got quite loud. We all started screaming like a major crime scene happening, even though no one was actually doing something. When we left our cabin after playing, some of the people questioned us why we were being so loud.
That was super cool. And honestly, I really enjoyed that game too. Even with the screaming, it was worth it. Now, Avleen, would you tell me another story during camp? I need details.
Not to brag, but I honestly had way too much fun. It was way better than I expected. But one of the things that twisted was on the very first day, an activity. I was happily exploring on the creek, looking at mud around. The mud was on these oily-looking rocks, and there were many people around, honestly. So I wasn't the only one there, but when I was trying to balance or parkouring on some of those rocks, I lost my balance. My mind was continuously screaming, "No way, Jose, not on my watch, I want to go home." I was constantly begging that was not happening. And then I fell on these oily, slippery, muddy type rocks. Like I was thriving when my bottom made emotional contact with the floor. Everyone's eyes immediately went on me, in shock and maybe even surprise. Like I think I might be famous. My jaw dropped and I couldn't help but laugh. I stood up and then realized my pants were stained with mud. It looked like poop. Hashtag traumatized for life. I for real had to stay in those crusty pants until our next activity with staring eyes. This is a flashback that haunts me in my sleep. So yeah, note to myself, I am not made for creek parkour.
Oof, that's definitely hashtag traumatized for life. I'm so glad that didn't happen to me. Must have shocked your mum too, but okay. Back to Manya. You both went on the aquatic excursion. How was it? And since I wasn't there, I need every last bit of it.
As you know, me and Avleen both went to the aquatics excursion. You were away on that day though, which kinda stinks. We were all on our boat in the middle of the lake. At that time, in our group, there was me and another, Avleen, Cameron, Lily, and the instructor, and me. We were meant to keep the boat even so it wouldn't tip over, but one of us didn't listen. They went to a side they weren't meant to be on and nearly tipped over the boat. Water started to enter from the side of the boat, which were the seats, and unfortunately, I was on that side of the boat and got soaked. The boat got lots of water in it, but luckily, the boat had no wall at the back, also known as the entry exit, so all the water naturally left the boat. The experience overall was fun, even though if there was a bit of chaos along it. If I would recommend it, this 10 out of 10.
Damn, I wish I was there to see the drama, but that's cool that you didn't, flip over. Avleen, can you tell me another story about aquatics?
The first activity was canoeing with our instructor. The first activity that Manya explained before me is different. Manya was seated at the front of the boat. Mashalia and me were there in the middle, and the instructor at the back. The three people who were with us before were on a different boat. Cameron at the front, Leah and Mia in the center, and the other instructor at the back on our boat. The instructor started singing, "Who's the guy who lives under the pineapple under the sea?" And we all started to shout back, "SpongeBob SquarePants." It was all super funny. Then while we were going through the tunnel, the instructor started using his paddle and whacking the water to make us think that there were seagulls in the tunnel. But we saw him moving his paddle up and down. Didn't fool us. But it was fun getting splashed by the water. I was even splashing the instructor on purpose.
SpongeBob SquarePants. Now you got that song stuck in my head. Well, everyone has been through playtime disasters. And now we're going to be hearing it from Manya. So, can you tell me about the most funniest or even dramatic moments of playtime that you were able to witness?
Everybody knows the game called hide and seek, right? Honestly, I think I've been improving. Like, there was a real good game before I went to America for a holiday. Not to brag, but I won almost every single round. I'm good at hiding and seeking. Once, when I was the seeker, I got everybody out, easy peasy, within minutes, unlike others who probably struggled. So whenever you want someone to be it, maybe don't ask me if you want to win. But honestly, it was really fun when I shouted, "I found you," and the jaws practically dropped to the floor like, "Girl, how did you find me?" I know. I'm the best. One time I even hid behind a tree for so long that they actually gave up and started a new round without me. I came out like, "Hello?" I was still hiding. Another time, someone tried hiding behind a transparent door. Like, be so for real. I could see your reflection the whole time. So yeah, I'd say I'm a professional now. If hide and seek was an Olympic sport, I would have gold medals stacked higher than my hiding spots.
Damn, yeah, you're not being it for a while. Not on my watch. Avleen, anything else you'd like to add to our disastrous moments during playtime?
This one's for you, Manya. While you were in America, sleeping like Sleeping Beauty, we were stuck learning in class. Boring, our butts out there. Like, the thing we did 99% of the time was sitting down. So in my opinion, it was worse than worse. I'm still traumatized from that, honestly. There was only one day what was super fun. What she missed was PJ Day, also Pajama Day. On the last day of the term, we obviously got free time. But for me, I had finished 2 to 3 assignments, better than 6 to 7 assignments after all. I procrastinate a lot. So yeah, you can tell. That wasn't the best way to end the term. I was kind of struggling at some parts, but it's fine. I just spent my entire day finishing all my work. Totally fine. Ha 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 ha. I've learnt from it. Then though, to finish stuff before it's due, even if I forget.
I remember watching you struggle. Hopefully you learned. Maybe. Anyways, now a classic. What has made classrooms more interesting, Manya?
So during an early morning in class, and this was in the beginning of a school day, our teacher was just starting to explain something when she was interrupted by a call. She looked at it and noticed it was her son, but she had to decline since we were in class. Then she started explaining again, and then she got interrupted by the call. Everybody in the class was laughing, but this time she answered the call. She was like, "Hello? I'm in class," so you had to make it quick. She waited and no response, and she just sighed and hung up. Our teacher was going to continuing, like I said. That's when a familiar ringtone rang again. She groaned, then went to answer. "Hello? What do you need? Can you hear me?" At this point, everybody in class was trying to hold their laugh, and again, no response. And she hung up. Again, she was going to continue when the call went off again. Instead of answering, she just hung up and kept her phone silent. She even sent a message to him after that though. And from around that term, our class has been eager to find out if she didn't get a response or even vibing to the ringtone.
There that goes again. I remember that so clear though. Okay, let's continue. Avleen, what is a funny moment during classroom time that you still can never forget?
Yeah, Manya. There's nothing better than skipping Playberry for 2 weeks, right? You like 30 minutes of torture 3 to 4 times a week and going on reading, writing, and yeah. So let's hear this from the start. It was a cloudy day. We all were tired since it was a Monday. Everyone hates doing Playberries on these types of days. And everyone in class were taking out their boards and whiteboard markers when the best thing happened. Our Playberry wasn't loading. Everyone in the class was so happy. They all started cheering, and our teacher was like, "Oh no, it's fine, we'll reload the page." Everyone literally started praying that it wouldn't work. And to our luck, it did work. We all started cheering again, while our teacher kept trying until it worked. Let's be honest, it didn't work. It was lagging on and on. We couldn't even access it. Like, how cool is that? It's just that on the day it started working again, we all lost our hopes. And we were still a little, or maybe more, crazy. I was sobbing non-stop, internally at least. I was like, no, this can't be happening. And we still beg to this day for Playberry not to work.
Well, that's just sad. I remember that day too though. I wish it stopped working again, but that's just how life is, folks. We'll get used to it. Or not. If you would like to hear more episodes from St. Martin's Catholic Primary School, you can check them out at our own podcast page. The link is in the show for notes for this episode. This podcast is produced by Avleen, Manya, and me, Kiara, for St. Martin's Catholic Primary School, with Archd Radio and podcasting. Okay, well, we finished with all that. That was enough chaos for one podcast.
Enough? There's never enough.
Yeah, next week we're probably gonna trip, fall, or embarrass ourselves again.
It's basically like our own brand at this point. What if we call it the Big Backs?
Perfect.
Yes, and from the camps, aquatics, classroom, and break time?
If it's chaotic, we definitely lived it, especially Avleen.
True. So hopefully you enjoyed listening to the most chaotic moments of our lives.
Hopefully, we made you laugh, or at least feel better about your most embarrassing moments.
And maybe learned a few survival tips.
Step 1, don't fall in mud. Anyways, thanks for listening. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel to hear heaps of other school life stories.
Bye!